like everything standard here, we do see Creator going for that classic gateway nexus into Cyber, and then of course we've got the hatch first from DRG. Now it is at the third base location, and interestingly enough, it is at the straightaway third, not at the triangle third. Now, how common is it nowadays for Zergs to take the straight third versus the triangle third?
I think it might just have to do with what they plan to do. So, if DRG wants to play more of a macro-oriented game, he will go for the, the more horizontal base, the 12 o'clock one. And then maybe if he wants to go for like a timing push, like a roach timing push with a Ravager and Lings and stuff like that, then he might take the pocket base. But also, he has to keep in mind like the dead airspace between the bases. More difficult for Oracles to fly from in the horizontal side versus the pocket one, where the pocket can jump right into the main base immediately. So those are some of the things that I'm sure DRG has in mind or keeps in mind.
Yeah. All right, so it is going to be a Twilight opener from Creator. Just have to wait and see what exactly he plans on making. Oh, look at that. A couple of Lings do actually sneak on by, getting a full scout in the main. Okay, so it looks like it will in fact be Glaives. Creator did pull off one probe each off of each gas.
Now, DRGs must be wondering, is this going to be for Blink upgrade or is it going to be for Glaive? I think you might have a sense that it's going to be for
Oh, no
Glaive.
way! I feel like, yeah, okay, so Creator actually messed up his wall. He has to plug it with a pylon, which is 2 hexes, or 2 squares, whatever you want to call it. Because normally you would just plug it with an Adept, or, a smaller gateway unit. In which case it would just be 1 hex, or 1 grid. But the reason why that's so important here is because those Lings confirmed that this is a 2 gas only build, and not 3 gas. If it were 3 gases, then that would indicate that it was something like Blink Stalkers, which is quite rare against Zerg, but still a thing sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think that, yeah.
And if he was paying extra attention, he would notice that there were 2 probes on each gas instead of 3. So that's also another tell.
Exactly.
That this is going to be a Glaive Adept. So yeah, he's making a bunch of roaches. He is cutting out worker production. He's going straight into just unit production to bolster his army here to defend.
I also like the addition of the spores. I think that can definitely shut down any sort of DT follow-up. But yeah, it looks like DRG has basically shut this down. Now he's, keeping active with the Lings. I do like that move a lot, trying to see if he can wiggle his way back into the main base, or if he can contest the third base at all. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and yeah, both players are just going to, as soon as this Warp Prism stops, fooling around in the main, I think both players are just going to transition straight into the next phase of the game.
Yeah, and that is smart, because Creator is like, okay, my plan was figured out. Do I continue with it, or do I transition out of this? And, with how DRG was responding, Creator was like, you know what, I'm just going to abandon ship. I'm just going to transition out. I'm just going to go ahead and go for the dirt base. And, hopefully DRG overreacted, and, he did. He made a lot of units and was not able to produce a lot of drones. So only now is he starting to produce drones. But Creator is about to have his dirt base as well.
I absolutely love how these games just sort of even out, I mean, in the early and mid game, they sort of even out, as in, hey, look, DRG doesn't have as many drones as he should have. Well, no, actually, he had to spend a lot of larva on the defense, but because of his heavy commitment to defense, Creator was able to also sort of keep up in the worker count. And just a lot of these dichotomies that happen throughout these games. I just find them so interesting. And see, for example, here there's a bit of a skirmish where the Adepts are trying to... the Roaches are trying to contest the middle ground. Not quite able to kill off everything, but just a little bit of a trade there. Oh, I like that. Using a hallucinated Phoenix to take care of the Overlord over on that pervert pillar.
Pervert pillar. Has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to take that out because it provides vision of the ramp and it allows the Zerg to know when to move in with the Lings, if it's open or not. And you can see there, like, he had a bunch of Lings just parked there ready to pounce. But, you know, luckily Creator had some Warpins, was able to save his Immortal. But DRG can very well, in the later stages of the game, just go across and with a bunch of lanes go for a run by into the natural and to the main, and that would be pretty horrible for Creator. So want to make sure that, you know, you take care of that pervert Overlord or Overseer. And yeah, make sure you just have something at the wall to defend.
Right. Now look at what we have here. We see a Hive and a Lurker Den about halfway done. On the other hand, Creator going straight to that Disruptor tech, which I like a lot. So we are definitely headed into the next phase of this game. You know, it's kind of interesting because right now we could consider this the mid-game. But once the Lurkers and Disruptors are, we could consider it yet another phase of the mid-game. You know, it's not quite the late game because that would require spellcasters and whatnot. But it's also not quite the same as, you know, Roach Ravager against ICA or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll probably be more like the late mid-game or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, is this fourth base going to go down? I think that it's going to stay up. Yep, so that's a lot of Lings that go down. Not quite able to finish the job. Creator probably kind of happy about that. I expect he'll put down a shield battery sometime soon. Try to heal that Nexus up.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have not one but maybe even two shield batteries, because that may be a base where the Zerg might want to engage in terms of attacking. And
right,
you know, corrosive bios can easily take out one of those shield batteries, so if you can have like multiple ones, then at least you have a backup.
You know, as a Zerg main, building placement is so foreign to me. Like, what do you mean I have to build a wall, you know? And so what happens is a lot of times I see a defending Protoss. Ooh, those Lurkers are getting some shots in. Oh, look at that. The really quick-paced dance between the two, you know, the Roach Micro and then the counter Disruptor Micro, so that was very interesting to watch. But yeah, so it's like a defending Protoss, and you saw this a lot with Zest, for example, defending against Queen Drops before the patch, where he would build shield batteries behind the middle line, way in the back, way, you know, far back from the Nexus. And that was how Protoss dealt with, you know, Queen Drops a lot of the time, where it wasn't just about building units, it wasn't just about army placement, it was also about building placement and building location. So I always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, very, very important for a Protoss, even for a Terran as well. So, you know, Zerg a bit more free, as they don't really need to worry about that. But talking about worry, Creator gotta be worried not to have DRG just park in front of his bases like this. It's gonna be really hard, make it hard to really defend it. Oh no, some of his units actually get caught into the Lurker crossfire, and all of a sudden we're gonna have ourselves a little bit of a base trade.
Oh man, look at that, 4 Lurkers running by over the 4th base, which I do like a lot. The natural is already under siege. 12 probes, 13, you know, more and more going down. But at the same time, this main Disruptor form Blink Immortal army has also made it to the natural as well. And of course the Lurkers, they can't easily push up into that, you know. Not only do they have to deal with Immortals and Stalkers, but most importantly, they have to deal with dodging Disruptors, and that's not easy to do. Now, of course, the Zerg is pretty much maxed out on supply. With every drone that falls, that frees up one supply for army. So, on paper, it looks like DRG could be ahead, but in practice, what do you think?
Oh, it's going to be close. You know, DRG does have the advantage of... Oh.
Oh, no.
Alright, so, I mean, you still be able to watch the Discord
yeah.
screen, so. Alright. Looks like the main of DRG finally under attack. Same with Greater. Same with Greater. He's actually, there's only a couple of units left here for DRG, so if Greater can get another warp in, he might be able to clean out the rest and save his main base, and that will be pretty nice because, you know, there's still some minerals patches, there's still some gases to be mined, so you know, that is going to be pretty nice for him. Critter, he's definitely going to need to recall at some point because there's some lurkers that's contained outside of the natural.
Although these disruptors are going to start, well, that one was a bit of a whiff, but they will be able to start slowly working on these disruptors. At the same time, the rest of the Protoss army is working on the main base, but look at this, we have yet another lurker run by, targeting what's left of the static defense at the 4th base location. So in reality, yeah, okay, so recall is forced. In reality, it looks like a 3-base Zerg up against a 2-base Protoss. I still favor DRG, but not by much.
Yeah, I do agree with you as well. I do like DRG's positioning, but you know what? The thing with disruptors is they can really change the complexity of a game if they can get some really great, decent hit shots. And gotta be careful with your high tempos. Oh no, that.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That could have been maybe 1 to 2 extra storms. Now, these High Templar on the high ground, they are going to get some good value with their storms. Disruptors are going to come down from the other side and take care of some of the lurkers, but there are lurker reinforcements. Roaches, or that singular roach in that group of hydras are going to take care of this base as well. Yeah, all in all, Creator's supply is dipping pretty far. DRG is still maintaining around 150. Oh, but this game, DRG just has not been dodging those disruptor shots at all. He's been multitasking. He doesn't really care about eating disruptor shots, especially not when he has such a high number of lurkers.
Ooh, this is a little bit sloppy here by Creator. Gotta be careful with his army positioning. Like, a couple of times this army has gone through the crossfires of those lurkers. But here we go. Creator wants to shut down this freshly established base. Wants to limit the economy of DRG, but that does leave his last remaining base pretty open. Although, actually, he does have a carrier there, but no detection to speak of.
What a funny scenario. Because first off, it's just one carrier, so the DPS is not that high. Second off, it doesn't actually have detection. So you've got a bunch of lurkers firing off their spines and one carrier just looking on very sadly.
Guys, that is the look of a sad face carrier. And yep, it looks similar to a happy face carrier. But anyhow, Creator is going to be feeling pretty sad as he does have to tap on out, and DRG going to go ahead and take the victory.
You know, I think that is part of what draws a lot of players, or a lot of fans, to Creator, is because of his emotion. And yet, on the other hand, a lot of fans in the StarCraft 2 fan base, player base, whatever, they might fault him for that. And, you know, everybody has an opinion, but what you cannot deny is that Creator, like you said, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he is, you know, just not afraid, really, to show what he's feeling. You know, he experiences the highs of victories, and he experiences the lows of defeats.
Yeah. So, you know, that's one of the things that make him, I think, more relatable. And also fun to watch. at least on stream. Alright, looks like once again going for that Glaive Adept build. This time around gonna be only 3 gates. Not as committed as the 4 gate that he previously went. But oh, gotta be careful about this Ling attack. That's a lot of Lings. And oh no!
I don't know if that was the right move, you know, sending out the probes to be able to stop. Okay, well, it was actually necessary because look at this. A simple Ling Flood is going to take Creator down. DRG is now up 2-0. Yeah, this is definitely going to be difficult, an uphill battle for Creator. Now, if you were in Creator's shoes, what would you do, Snoopy?
I would probably revert back to the Stargate play, because it just seems like these Twilight Council kind of openings just not working out for Creator. DRG just feels like he has a read on him.
Yeah.
And with the Stargate play, like, I think it's a bit more like you can branch out to a bunch of different build orders from a Stargate opening.
Right, it gives you that flexibility.
Right. So, you know, if you're opening with Twilight Council, yeah, to an extent you can be flexible and go for a Dark Shrine or go for Charge Lot All-In.
Yeah.
War Prism behind it as well. You know, you can go for the Glaive of Depths. But for the most part, I think I do like the Stargate flexibility more than the Twilight one. And looks like Creator feels the same as he throws down his first Stargate.
Okay, so DRG committing to a third base a little bit later, but still a pretty standard time. Now, at the same time, the Stargate is just about to finish up. Question becomes, will DRG be able to scout it? Will DRG know what is coming? Because, of course, even if it's just one Oracle, if your queens are out of position, that Oracle can zap through a lot of your drones.
Yeah, the Pulsar Beam DPS is just insane, so you don't want to have your mineral line too open against Oracles.
Ooh, these 2 Adepts getting a little bit of damage in. Very cute, 2 Adepts for 2 drones. I've seen that kind of commonly nowadays. I still don't think it's worth it, but I don't know. I'm not the pro player, so.
Yeah, so the idea is just to have the Adepts kind of distract the Zerg. So, you know, hopefully that the Zerg forgets to build a Spore, and then your Oracle can follow up and kill all those drones. But it's always nice to put some pressure on the Zerg, because you don't want them to over drone up, and you want to kind of force them to use those larvae and have them make Lings instead of drones in the early game.
Yeah. I love that situation every time. It's like, joke's on you, I don't have drones here, so go away. Oh, very cute. Cancel micro. Oh, will the Oracle... Wow, excellent reaction time by Creator. Only taking a couple of hits from the queens, and then able to react in time to pull it away.
Yeah, it was really important for him to save that Oracle, because Oracles is really useful for the Protoss in many aspects. So definitely want to keep them alive. Alright, so looking very much more normal type of game in the PvZ. Nothing too insane. We haven't seen like double Stargate or triple Stargate.
Yeah, and I actually do like the usage of the Void Grave here. It's only, it's nice defensively, but it's mainly meant to clear up any overlords that are straggling around on the map. We do see a bit of a gateway explosion. At the same time, Roach Warren is about to finish, so we're gonna get into that more standard mid-game.
Oh, nice little cute harassment by these two adepts. We'll actually get, ooh, these drone counts mounting up quite high.
Yeah, plus the stasis wards are forcing a lot of APM, they're forcing a lot of lost mining time. DRG only now sort of starting his 4th hatch.
Oh no, actually their base of Critter quite vulnerable. Could have been scary. A lot of probes could have gone down.
Oh man. Guess what, Snoopy?
What?
DRG is going for the Spire yet again. I love it.
I mean, we have seen those Mutalisks utilized really well by DRG. It has one.
No. My money is gonna be on Corruptors. Just kidding. Wait, no, that's a horrible idea. If we saw maybe 3 Stargates right now, then yeah, of course, maybe Corruptors. But that's not gonna be the case. Okay, so a good set of force fields. They are gonna chop off that front section of Queens, but the Ravager Biles are going to break down the force fields. However, this is not going to be enough in terms of Roaches and Ravagers to defend against all these Stalkers, so drones are actually temporarily pulled off the line. That Immortal is dealing so much damage from the back. Is this Ravager count actually enough? Wait a second. Okay, so they're actually going to be able to force back the Stalkers, just not having enough DPS to keep up with the Ravagers. Good War Prism Micro gonna save the Immortal, but it is not gonna be able to save anything else, so that trade definitely went in favor of DRG, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. He's got, if we take a look at the resources lost tab, a lot more resources lost here for Creator, so looks like the trade has gone in favor of DRG, and that is pretty devastating considering the fact that, oh, actually, you know what? It did force DRG to cancel the Spire, so I guess,
okay.
No, he's still alright. Because I was gonna say, like, if that Spire was done and he still defended that attack, like, man, Critter is in a world of trouble. But he did force DRG to cancel the Mutalisks in order to favor more units to defend that attack. So, at the very least, Creator does have some time to, kind of build back up. And he's not just going to outright lose to a bunch of Mutalisks flying into his base.
Oh, did you see that Bile? I think that... Was that a misclick? I'm not sure. Well, what was definitely not a misclick was those Lings targeting the 4th base. So that was a really good cancel. Creator, at the 9-minute 20-second mark, is still only on a 3-base economy. Now, granted, his opponent is also only on a 4-base economy, but that advantage is still significant.
Yeah, I mean, the bases are pretty even for both players, but the thing I'm worried about is that Creator doesn't really have a lot of follow-up.
Yeah, I agree.
He does have the blink finishing, but you need something else, because Blink Stalker is generally not the greatest against Zerg. They're just so, like, kind of, they don't have the highest of health points. They're kind of a bit flimsy at times.
Okay, is this going to be the last stand from Creator? Now, the supplies aren't all too bad, but oh, look at that. Creator is definitely going to start evening them up here. A bit of an erroneous retreat by DRG. It's going to put those Roaches and Ravagers in the line of fire. Quite a few Roaches went down, actually. Look at that supply. All of a sudden, They are dead even, and yet DRG is on a Roach Ravager Ling composition. So could this be a critical mass of Blink Stalkers? Now the mutas are going to come in from the backside, not quite able to find an angle. They are going to get blinked on by the Stalkers, going to be forced back for the time being. These Oracles retaining their value coming here into the sort of mid-game, late to mid-game. But yeah, this is a huge number of Stalkers. Some force fields do go down. Zealots in front are going to start taking a lot of damage. Drones are pulled off the line yet again. Is it going to be enough? I am not so sure. Oh no, DRG.
Wow. He does it. Creator does it. He keeps his hopes alive as he goes ahead and takes his first point on the scoreboard. All right, Creator, he has kept his hopes alive. He has survived, and we'll see if he can survive just a tad bit longer. As if he can win this game, he can force a game number 5 where anything can happen. But anyhow, he is at the, or he's spawning at the top right. Give it up for the blue Protoss, Creator.
And in the opposite corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player once again. On match point, can he close it out right here, right now? It is DRG.
You know, I know that the DRG stands for Dong Regu, you know, as initials of his name, but wouldn't it be funny if DRG stood for downright good or downright great?
Oh, hey, that could be the NA nickname for DRG. Oh, okay. They even sound similar, Dong Regu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. I'm sure that DRG, you know, being as nice of a guy, you know, that he actually is, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He might be a little weirded out. He'd be like, what exactly do you mean by that? You know, my name is my name. But I'm sure that he'd be fine with it.
Yeah. Oh, Gary in the live chat saying, downright goat. Ah,
oh, like that. That's a great one. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Then we would have to explain to DRG the true meaning of the word goat. It's not about the mountainous. You know, it has nothing to do with biology. It's not about the animal. It's about you.
It'll be so funny whenever like DRG plays against like Sero or Maru and it's like, hey, I'm the GOAT. It's in my name, you know? Makes it true.
Maru would probably just laugh. I'm trying to imagine how each player would respond. You know, Raynor would be laughing his butt off. And then Maru might do a little smile and, you know, retort back at that. Yeah. But I feel like Cyril,
straight face.
It could go either way for him. You know, like he definitely has a fun side. And that started to come out more in the, you know, more recent years since his 2018. Not debut in 2018, but like his really big showings in 2018. That's when he really got popular and took off. But on the other hand, he could just be super serious and, you know, sort of take that silently because he disagrees or something.
Oh yeah, I would bet Sero would just keep a straight face and be unfazed.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's the Sero way, you know.
You know, I've noticed that in different esports communities, there are different levels of toxicity and different levels of banter. And I feel like StarCraft is one of the more mature communities. You know, people who play StarCraft tend to be on the older side when compared to, you know, other video games that are very popular right now, which attract, you know, preteens, teens, early 20s, people of that age group. But obviously you've got some outliers like Raynor, who's just, he's a teenager himself, right? So of course he's going to be loud and, you know, rambunctious and all that. But I don't know, I feel like in general StarCraft is sort of chilled out as a community. And it often feels like the most toxic that you will ever hear a pro player get is when you watch those GSL, you know,
Trash talking
sort
one
of.
of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in StarCraft 2, like you rarely see anyone in terms of the pro players, by the way. You know, BM or anything like that. However, you know, the same cannot be said for ladder players, regular ladder players.
Oh, definitely not. As every one of us already knows.
Yeah, yeah. We've had enough experiences in our lives in this game of StarCraft 2 where, you know, someone or sometime or another you would come across someone who's like saying F you, or you know,
It just gets so personal, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And it gets really nasty too. So you have to feel bad for the one Blizzard intern who's responsible for StarCraft.
But you mean the guy that sleeps all the time and takes naps?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Who, by the way, is rumored to be responsible for renewing ESL contracts, which we don't know if that's going to happen.
Oh man, I hope so.
Yeah, I can't imagine, you know?
All right, looks like Creator going for quite a greedy opening, actually getting his fourth base like around the same time that DRG is getting his fourth base. So he's just gonna try to count on the fact that DRG is not gonna attack him anytime soon, and he's gonna be correct because DRG just droning up like crazy, adding that infestation pit, transitioning to the, I would imagine, the hive tech play here.
Alright, so we have a bit of a blink +1 timing just about to come out for Creator, and DRG on the other hand, you know, falling back to that good old Roach playstyle. But keep in mind that this is a very high economy game. Both players are above 70 workers, so Creator has definitely not been slacking on the pro production either. He's going to have a lot of minerals and a lot of gas to work with. He'll be able to warp in, you know, many rounds of Stalkers. And honestly, I really like the Hydra Den. You know, just give your army a little bit extra DPS. That will always be a good thing.
Yeah, it has allowed him to transition to Lurker Tech, as he is going to place it down during the at a timing where both the Hive and the Lurkers will be relatively in sync in terms of their completion time.
Right.
And
right.
That is going to be quite troublesome for Creator, because Lurkers in generally good against Protoss, and you really need to kind of scout this ahead of time and start preparing a bit earlier compared to your Zerg opponent. And you got to start, you know, choosing how you want to counter this, whether it's going for you know, air tech or sky toss, you know, just throw down a bunch of Stargate, get some carriers out, and hopefully, you know, DRG morphs in a lot of those Hydralisks into Lurkers and have no anti-air to defend, or not enough anti-air to defend. Or you can just go for maybe the Disruptor route, where you just get a huge amount of Disruptor production and just try to Disruptor your opponent to death.
Right. Now, speaking of which, the Robo Bay is not even 3/4 of the way done, whereas Lurkers are already out and about on the field. So I feel like in this situation in particular, DRG is a little bit ahead in terms of tech. It's hard to say, of course, you know, without some big fight turning the tide in favor of one player or another. But that's certainly what it seems like to me. You know, you've got a bunch of probes on the production tab. We don't see any of those juicy splash units yet, such as Disruptors. Or, well, I was going to say Colossi, but Colossi aren't really relevant in this case. But yeah, these Hydras and the Lurker count is getting a little bit out of control at this point. And both players have that discipline to just split up their armies constantly, making sure that they're not just in one place at one time. So I do like that a lot. Now, funnily enough, the Protoss is on 5 bases and the Zerg is only on 4, now that that one hatch has been dealt with. So I guess DRG is going to want to get some damage done here. But are we going to have a bit of a base... Oh, no, never mind. So the roaches... There are still roaches at home left to defend.
Yeah, it seems like Creator has gone for this heavy gateway type of playstyle. Very reminiscent of Heroes playstyle. And so you try to, you know, keep up or out-expand your opponent and just rely heavily on just gateway units. And then slowly transition to disruptors. However, DRG, he himself has teched up quite fast. So, I don't know, I'm getting a little bit worried here for Creator. Maybe he can buy himself enough time here at the... Oh, he's losing a lot of stalkers though. He's got to pay attention to that. But it looks like his focus is on across the side of the map, and it looks like that is going to get cleaned up relatively well. And so DRG, he is kind of starting to expand his overall supply lead here against Creator. And Creator is going to go ahead and just try to hold strong here. He can't afford to lose the space.
Yeah, once that shield battery overcharge is over... Well, is it even going to matter? Because it looks like the Hydras might try to rotate towards the north? And I do have to say, DRG's creep spread has been severely lacking in this game. I don't know if it's because he's been distracted, or if it's because Creator has been able to constantly push it back.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of both. I mean, the Oracles provided the revelations for the creep tumors to get sniped out. And then on top of that, you know, like you said, he had his army split up, so he was able to attack the pre-tumors.
Oh no, the Disruptor got jumped on. Now all that's left are some Blink Stalkers and some Charge Lots, but they're not going to be enough to deal with all of this Roach Hydra. So the Roach Hydra is going to be able to take care of this third base location all on its own. Another Disruptor is out. It will get a very, very good connection on a bunch of Roaches as well, but... Ooh, things all of a sudden are taking a turn for the worst. I mean, Creator is losing a base. There's Vipers out on the map. Lots of Lings are on the production tab. So this is kind of like a repeat of earlier where we saw Creator have that small Disruptor-based army. And also, it just wasn't enough to defend against DRG.
Oh, but these Disruptors, absolutely vulnerable, will get picked off. And that, I think, is going to do it for DRG. The basis, the core of Creator's army composition are in those disruptors, and once they are cleaned up, then you're just left off with a bunch of gateway units, and that is not going to cut it against what DRG has. I mean, DRG has lurkers, he has lings, he's got roaches, he's got hydralisks. That is going to demolish the gateway units of Creator here.
Oh man, look at this juicy Ling run by. Now the Disruptors are sending out as many shots as they possibly can. Wow, look at that, pretty decent splits, I would say, as much as you can split Lurkers. Vipers, however, they are here to seal the deal on those Disruptors. I think the writing is on the wall. Yeah, looks like Creator is being pushed back to the same battery that had overcharge earlier as well. Yet another set of Stalkers are going to move on to the creep, trying to see whatever base they can clean up, take care of. Oh man, look at that. Another Disruptor hit. So that's the interesting part about Disruptors that I didn't know until very recently. It actually takes 2 shots to kill a Lurker.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of Protoss would have loved for Disruptors to one-shot Lurkers.
Oh boy, that would make for a very interesting meta.
It would have made it so easier for the Protoss, but yeah, it takes 2.
Yeah, so that was a pretty big hit on all of those Hydras. Blink Stalkers are going to feel confident enough to blink on top of this army. Ooh, Vipers are a little bit vulnerable, actually. There is Blinding Cloud, but that does not prevent the Stalkers from blinking. Roach reinforcements are going to come down onto the low ground and see what they can do, but Wait a second, has Creator done it?
Oh man, it's so close.
Oh, no way! They're so close in supply. Both players are still taking damage. But I just can't tell who wins. Okay, so there is an observer. Oh, but that observer by itself is not going to be enough. Okay, so DRG is going to take game number 4 and this series in a 1-3 fashion. Very, very well played.